Hello and welcome to my tutorial on AEM Designer, my second tutorial on AEM Designer regarding master pages. So, right now I have a document open. The previous document that we take a look at in the first demonstration on the layout, that didn't really have any content about master pages that involved master pages, but this one does. So, the way we access our master pages is over here in the hierarchy. So, the above just your normal regular page objects, which I've named P1. Um, Over here, we have our master pages, which I've designated MP1, MP2, and MP3. Now, what are master pages? Essentially, master pages are for having content that you want to be present on multiple pages without unnecessarily repeating content. So, like if you have a button on page 1 and a button on page 2 and you want it to do the same exact thing, you want it to be named exactly the same, you could make one button and put it in the first page and then make the same button and make it on the second page, but you don't have to do that. With your master pages, you can have your content be present on one page or across 100 pages. So here's how that works. So right now I'm in the master pages pane. So all the content in this master page is present here, separate from the page one content. So in our design view, we can see all the content on our first page, which includes all the master page stuff as well as this tech. In this case, it's just a text field. So a very large text field we have right here. But the master page does not include that view. It just has all this content. And if we were to repeat this first page, then this page, all this stuff at the top of the page would repeat across multiple pages. Now, let's see this in action. Actually, before we go on, I should also go over here and mention master page. So you can also restrict the page occurrences. So you can have a minimum count of a master page. So you can have a master page appear at least once, at most a certain amount of times. So there's no restrictions on that in this document. Okay, but so for the third page we have a restriction. So we will have exactly one occurrence of the third master page. So at least one master page and at most one. So that one is always guaranteed to appear. Of course, if you already have, I have no such restriction for the first master page, but if you already have page data, if you already have anything in the first page object, then the first master page is going to appear regardless, just as a consequence of the normal page content having to appear. Now, that being said, let's take a look at master pages in action. So let's zoom out a bit. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. So right now, all this content, at the top is part of our master page. This text field is not. Similarly, we have that over here. So the way I have this document set up is if I have text in this text field, it will spill over into this one, and then additional copies of this second master page will keep appearing until there's no more space, until our text statement is complete. So let's see that in action. Okay, so we're expanding out our text field. Mm-hmm. There we go. So we just made a lot of content. So I just put in a lot of text like that, and notice we are now making more copies of this same master page. So using the second master page as a template, that text field is expanding. It's expanding to its predefined borders, which is this area. So it expands to its maximum size, and then it spills over and it creates a copy of the second master page. And these copies just keep on being made until our text statement runs out. And then we proceed on to the final master page. So that's just one example of how master pages can be fairly useful in creating forms, especially if you have expanding text fields. So you can, if you just make we'll go over this more in depth when we talk about flowed versus positioned layouts and expandable text fields. But it's very useful. Master pages are very useful for that. When you have content you want to appear on multiple pages, especially if you have these text fields that can expand and flow and spill into separate pages. So, that being said, thank you for watching, and tune in next time when we're going to be going over the concept of subforms. Until then, take care.